All right, Shalom. This is Brother Tazabah, coming at you with a quick video, right? Hope that this video will be edifying to the hopeful elect, right? Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akims that are pushing around the four corners of the earth. And with that, I want to say shalom. All right, this is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start at verse 43. The strangers that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Right? So that's actually talking about the enemy. The stranger that reside within you should get above you. Right? The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh shall allow our enemies to be over us as far as rulership because we disobeyed the Heavenly Father. Right? We broke the law and statute and commandments. Our forefathers went off, right? Verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And that's what you see right here in America. You see the enemies, right? All the other nations outside of Israel, they're the Lord's enemy. They're the enemy of Israel, man. And guess what? You shall lend. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. Right? He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Right? You can see that. You can see that in America today, man. That's a prophecy that's present. Your enemy is living in a better condition than you. They actually have control over your food and your water. They actually have control over the land, right? They have control over you. That's what these birth certificates and these social security cards and IDs about. It's about your stranger. If you read Daniel's chapter 7 to 25, the Lord gave you over to the enemies. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Right? All right. This is Daniel 7 and 25. He shall speak great words, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given unto his hand until a time which is 100 years, a times which is 200 years, and a dividing of time is 50 years. Right? For a certain time period, the Most High turned his back on this and gave us over to our enemies. Right? And just showing you how the Lord allowed that. He allowed our enemies to come into our land and destroy us, and have a certain group, really the house of Judah, right, to be transported on cargo slave ships from one continent to another, right? And we're gonna get into that. And this is back in Deuteronomy 28 and 48, right? Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. Right. So, our forefathers and the rest of us, right? We broke the law, statute, commandments, and the Lord said all these curses are going to devour you. It's going to destroy you, and you can see that all the way back. It goes back before the 1700s. But if you dig into history during the 1700s, we was getting hung from trees. We was getting lynched. The mothers would watch their kids get eaten by alligators. The father was getting butt raped, right? The slaves, until they worked us until we dropped dead, right? So verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, your power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shall you serve thy enemies. Now that word enemy has an S on the end because when you go into Psalms 83, the Lord will give you the nations that are against you. The Lord will show you what nations are your enemy, man. And also it'll show you the hit list because guess what? They're going to go into slavery. They haven't got away with the things they did. The Most High said He has an anger with them that's going to tear forever, man. So basically, therefore thou you shall serve your enemies, which the Lord shall send against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and the want of all things, and He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until He has destroyed you. Right? And you can see that today because your food and your clothes, we don't have ownership of that. We don't manufacture that. We don't have control over any of that. Right? And all these Krogers and Walmarts and Targets and all these grocery stores are set up by the oppressor. You have to go through them to get your food. They have the ability to cut off your food source. They have the ability to provide any food source, right? So that goes back with Daniel 7:25, right? You was given unto the hand, so they was gonna control your food source. And He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. When you dig into the history of when we came to America, you would definitely see a physical yokes of iron. Iron are meant to bind people down, tie them down, tie them up. He said, a yoke of iron upon thy neck until He has destroyed you, right? We was thrown off of slave ships. We were hung by trees and lynched, you know. And again, they still use those yokes of iron today. When they incarcerate brothers, they use yokes of iron to tie you down. And that's what we're going to use to tie them down when the table turn, man. When the table turn, the Bible says in Psalms? He said that we're going to bind their kings and their nobles with feathers of iron. So the men of the Lord, the elect, the Lord is going to give them charge to be able to do that, to be able to, bind our enemies with chains because they have to be repaid back for what they did to us. Esau definitely is the main one, the main target, because he went beyond. He went beyond with destroying us and cutting us off and lying to us, telling us that we African American. But basically, the Lord, there was a prophecy that came to pass that we'll be in a strange land, which neither we or our fathers have known, and we're going to be over here for a reproach, correction, because we moved the Most High to wrath, right? Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle fleeth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Right? When we came off those slave ships, Esau was beating English into us, man. We didn't understand that tongue. Right? The movie, what is that movie? I can't even think of it right now, but it basically telling you, he beat Toby into us. He beat Toby in, instead of us keeping our Hebrew names and speaking our native tongue, He broke us from that, man. So, a nation, the Lord shall send a nation against you from afar, right? From the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle fleeth. Now, that was a perfect symbolism, man, because Esau, when you look on this dollar bill, when you look at the Bohemian Grove, when you look at the all the symbolism that Esau used, he used that eagle, man. The eagle is swift and quick when it goes down to get his food. He's swift. And that's the same way that Esau was, man. He's swift with taking people into captivity. He's swift with, Alexander the Great. In Daniel, the 8th chapter, it spoke about that his feet did not touch the ground, representing he moved quick when he taking down nations, when he, binding people up, putting them into captivity. He moved quick. He moved swift as an eagle. His feet didn't touch the ground. Verse 50, a nation with fierce countenance. And let's get that word fierce. I believe that word going into like bravery. Strong, let me get that.
Strong's H5794. As.
Right? So
As.
the Hebrew term is as, and it means strong, mighty, fierce. All right. Strong, fierce, mighty, power. Right. Greedy, roughly, stronger, harsh, fierce, greedy, mighty, power, strong, man. So that's what it's mean. That's what it mean, man. That's what it mean. Greedy, strong, mighty, power. And you can see that, man. Esau has all the power. Esau is full of greed. Right? All right, back to 49. A nation whose tongues thou shalt not understand. I mean, verse 50, Salaki. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old nor show favor to the young. Right? And you can see that, man. Hey, as soon as the mother during the time of slavery actually produced the seed, hey, Esau put them on the bank of the rivers and watched alligators, tear them to pieces, man. And Esau actually killed your grandmother or had Big Mama in the house working and doing whatever he want to her, man. He didn't have favor to the old or the young. He didn't show favor towards the old or young, right? And I'm going to skip down to verse 68. I'm going to start at 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. So that's proof that wherever on the planet, in the continent we are, they're Israelites, man. Right? And just to throw this in now, this video is about us being scattered among all nations. But when you see verse 64, I'm just throwing this point in now. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. So that's the whole concept. That's the whole thing of, the disciples being dispersed among the disciples going to these different lands, right, and speaking in that their native tongues, to the people. They was coming to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He wasn't coming for heathens, right? Because that prophecy already had been pushed forward that we'll be scattered among all lands. So guess what? The Lord set up the prophets that we can go all across the seas, all across the different lands, preaching to the lost tribes, right? All right, verse 64. From one end of the earth even unto the other, and thou shalt serve other gods, right? Wherever Jake went to that land and learned about the people and their gods, they started worshiping. They started becoming part of their customs, worshiping their gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. Right. So Jake is going after the heathens, worshiping these different idols, worshiping wood and stone, things that are made by hands. Right? Verse 65, among these nations shall you find no ease, meaning you don't find no ease, no rest. Micah 2:10 say this is not your rest. Neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest. Why? Because you constantly got to work. Right? Look at us in America today. We working 80 hours a week, man, or better. Right? I can recall a job that I worked one time, man. I was pretty much working every day, didn't even get an off day. And if I act like I wanted an off day, they act like they wanted to fire me, man, So we'll get no ease, we'll get no rest, right? We constantly got to pay bills. We constantly got to work, man. That's why he said, and let me go up. I'm pretty sure it's up. Let me go to verse 30. Let me see if I can get it. Salaki, bear with me. Right, verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather little in. Right? So that's the point. Thou shalt carry much seed out in the field, and carry little therein. Hey, that's what we're doing on these companies. That's what we're doing working these companies in America, man. You're making the white man millions of dollars, the so-called white man, Esau. You're making Esau millions of dollars. But you go home with a couple of hundreds of dollars. And it's really not even enough to carry all of your bills, man. On top of that, you have families. You're missing time. That proves that you're a slave. You came to America for a reproach. You came over here to be corrected. You know, so we were scattered among all nations, man. That's the point. That we hey, let me get verse 60. No, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now that Egypt is not talking about ancient Egypt, it's talking about a spiritual Egypt. Because at this time we had already came out of Egypt. When Moses led us out led us out of the wilderness. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And it's talking about America here today, which is spiritual Egypt. By the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Right? So that proves that, hey, listen, the nation of Israel, the so-called black man, native man, and Latino man, you was sold, you were sold on slave ships, man. Some of us was already over here, but we definitely know the house of Judah came on slave ships, right? And you were sold to another European family, right? And thou shalt see it no more again, that ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, right? A bondman, bondwomen, man, and no man should better buy you. Let's get that word bond. I'm in a blue letter, by the way, so you'll know. So you'll hear for yourself what it means.
Strong's H 5650.
Ebed. Ebed is the Hebrew word for bond. And when you look outline of biblical usage, slave, servant, manservant, subject, servant, worshiper, servant, all right, a servant, basically a slave. You're a slave, right? And that's what that word, bond mean, man. It's going into the word slavery. And no man should buy you, because guess what? You were owned by a European family. They didn't sell you to another Israelite family. They sold you to another European family, man. So that's what we came to America for, right? Just to, for correction, man. So we not supposed to have our kingdom in America. We're not supposed to be over here. It's a waste of time starting businesses and trying to get black people, what they would say, up to a certain level in America. You didn't come here for that. You came here to be a slave. You came here to work, right? You came here to be corrected. That was a punishment of the Father, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, man. So let me get that, matter of fact, let me get that Micah 2 and 10. It's Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart. He told you to depart from this place, man. Definitely spiritually, until he departed physically, man. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. America is polluted, man. The blood of the saints is soaked in in this oil, and it destroys you. America teach you to be a faggot, a lesbian, and it's a direct attack on the Lord's people. It's a direct attack on the Lord's people, right? It's to keep you polluted, and this land is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword of destruction. So our people have been getting destroyed for centuries, man. And time again, you try to, build your kingdom over. Nah, it's not for that. It's not for that, man. What you should be doing is praying and fasting and getting in this truth, and hoping to get delivered out of here, man. This is not your rest, man. All right, let me get the scriptures for a second. This is James, just proving again that we've been scattered. This is James 1:1. A servant of the Most High and of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greetings. So that's showing you that we, the 12 tribes of Israel, we were scattered among all nations. You know, we were scattered among all nations, man. For a correction, man, to be corrected. Well, he said for a reproach, right? We supposed to be learning why we came over. We supposed to be learning why we should depart from this place, man. That's what we should be, not trying to be a part of this place. This place is polluted, you know. All right, this is Isaiah 5:13. Therefore, my people, and who are they specifying on? Who is that referring to? The nation of Israel. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity, slavery, because they have no knowledge, right? So that's basically saying, look, you're going into captivity because you have no knowledge, man. You have no knowledge. Why? Because our people fell away from the laws, statute, commandments. And he said, my people are what? Destroyed from a lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6, man. So, again, we went into captivity because we started breaking the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. This is Baruch 3:8. So behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. This present day, we still captive. We don't have our everybody have their own land. Everybody have the Chinese have their lands, the Africans have their land. Everybody have their land except us. We are captive in every society, in every nation of people, right? That they look down on us, look upon us. You still have Israelites in Africa that's getting beat. You know what I'm saying? You still have people. You have Jews. You have Israelites in every land. Ethiopia, Africa. All over. There's every nation you look into today, you're gonna see Israelites. All right. This is Baruch 3:8 again. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where you have scattered us for a reproach and a curse. Right. So we under the curses right now. And to be subject to payments. That's why you got to pay rent. You got to pay for food, as it's specified in Deuteronomy 28 and around about the 47th chapter. He said, man, listen, your food and your clothes and everything you want is going to have to come from your enemies. That's why you subject to payments. You got to pay for all that, man. According to all the iniquities of your father, which departed from the Lord our power. So our forefathers went off, man. And he told them, look, man, your seed is going to be scattered among, and they're going to go into captivity. Right? Amen. All praise to the Most High. Hopefully this quick lesson was edifying to the hopefully elect. Amen. The water to the elders, a great millstone, for teaching us this truth. And thank you, the water, and all praises to you, to the Most High first and foremost. For you, peace and salutations to the Akians that are pushing around the four corners of the earth, man. Keep doing the work. And with that, I want to say shalom.